There we go. Okay, yeah. Hello, SolarLune here. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. There we go. Okay. So yes, hello, I'm SolarLune. I'm an independent game developer. I am a programmer. I'm the creator of Tetra3D, which is a 3D software, well, hybrid renderer. I am a guy. I do stuff. Hello. Hope everyone's doing well. Excuse me. Had to grab something to eat. Oh man, I'm all hiccupy. But yes, good to be here. How's everyone doing in YouTube land? Hope everyone's doing good. Should be good, I think. Let me zoom in. Maybe one more. That's a little too much. There we go. Yes, so I am the creator of Tetra3D. I have been working on Tetra3D for a while now. And I am also working on this game, this exploration game, as kind of like a test. I'm also like trying to refine some of the API to kind of like simplify it or kind of get to where I want it to be. Yeah, so that's also going on. Yeah, so this is shaping up, working pretty well. Let's see. I just want to take a look to see what I've done. Right, yeah, so just some API changes. Something that I had implemented previously was basically the ability to check a node, and if it isn't a bounding object, or regardless of whether it's a bounding object or not, also check its children. That was very cool because that would allow you to, for example, check a model and basically say, you know, check the model, and when you check the model, you check, because it doesn't have any bounding object, it's not a bounding object itself, it would check its children. So that works really well. You know, basically you could check a tree of bounding objects all at the same time. But the downside of this approach is that you could pass a slice essentially of both the bounding objects themselves as well as the parent which contains the bounding object, and that's no good because then we're checking collision multiple times. So I basically was like, okay, well, let's make it so that you have to specifically pass bounding objects. You cannot pass anything else. Now I'm wondering if it would be a better approach to make a function that does this, so that you could have a function that tests bounding objects and a function that tests nodes, basically a node, the hierarchy of a node. But most times you wouldn't want to check one object, one node for collision. So I guess this is fine. I added this function to basically just make it a little easier to get bounding objects that belong to a parent that has a certain property like this, which is good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that could be a role. Was that the, yeah. There's no changes here, right? Yeah. Okay. I also improved the particle system. This actually doesn't need to happen, but yeah, I improved the particle system to be a little bit more reliable. what I was trying to do before, where it automatically batches, you know, particles that are spawned, that should now work properly, which is good. Yeah, that should work. So we'll check it out. Okay, cool. So you can see, I also changed this little hand icon, but you can see that it's spawning these particles, and they're not batching currently. It's just 8 batched, it says. So we'll see if we can fix that by just going to Blender. Well, I'm wondering if batching should be automatically enabled or not for particles. I guess so, because it doesn't really make sense. Well, I mean, like, could be a situation where you wouldn't want the particles to be batched. But I guess you could manually handle that. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Let's take a look here. Manuel Taruka says, "Hi, I have a couple questions. Why Go, and do you dog feed on master plan for your own projects?" Go, I use Go because it's very simple and easy to use. It's a very simple. It's good. In comparison to something like Java or what's the other, Kotlin. You know, they're great languages, but they're not very complicated, but there's a lot to them. Whereas, like, you know, you have interfaces, you have you know, structs or something similar to structs. Then you also have, you know, classes. You also have you know, things that implement the interface, right? The implements keyword, and, you know, there's kind of a lot. In comparison, Go is like, you know, you could learn it in an afternoon, basically, and it's just about using it effectively. So I like the language. It's very simple. As for whether I use master plan for my own projects, I do. This one, not so much, because this has been kind of more of a stream of consciousness. Let's add this, let's work on that kind of thing. But I actually had an idea. Let me see if I can pull it up. I had an idea for a game. Let me change the theme, because somebody is going to be like, "Ah, my eyes." I already know. Ah, my eyes. Ah, my eyes. Let's go with Moonlight. Okay. I had an idea for a game that I actually had an idea for a while ago. Like years ago. Basically, it is a dungeon crawler. The game that I initially, in answer to your question, I do dog feed on master plan when I need to plan things. So this is a game that requires a lot of planning, because basically it's very build heavy. I don't know if I'm going to make this or anything, but this is just, you know, me writing down some ideas. The general idea is that basically a lot of games, okay, so this is a project that I'm planning. It is a co-op action dungeon crawler, similar to, I guess, like, what's that game? I can't remember the name of it. It was popular. Well, in any case, a co-op action dungeon crawler. So for this, it would probably be overhead. It would be, you know, a game that you could play online, ideally, where you run around and basically explore. It's more of a excuse to explore a game world, and find items and weapons and skills and stuff. Something like Xanadu Next. I guess that's kind of similar. The vibe is kind of similar. Where it's kind of like Xanadu from, you know, it's a little clunky in terms of gameplay mechanics, but the core gameplay is, you know, just basically combat. So that's the idea of this game, is that it's kind of focused on combat. But the thing that I wanted to do that is different compared to a large percentage of RPGs out there that are kind of similar, is I really want to put the focus on your build, where you have a lot of capability to express yourself, to express like how the build works and how your character plays. So like a lot of games would have like a skill tree or something, and it would be like a vertical, tree, or or whatever. It might be a tree of whatever orientation, but essentially how you get the last ability in the tree is to just walk up the tree, right? So it's like, maybe there's 4 abilities between the top and the bottom, and you're just activating them in a line. So like how you play, say, Noctis at the end of Final Fantasy 15 is the same more or less as how I would play Noctis at the end of Final Fantasy 14, because our skill trees are the same. So assuming that we both have the last skill in the tree, we're probably going to have, kind of a similar build, right? Because it's like, well, you can change the weapons and stuff, but I mean, like, in terms of your skills, they're kind of like set, right? Like, let me see if I can pull this up. Hold up. Okay. So like in this skill tree, you start at the center, right? And you go out. So if you want to get this skill, you're going to get these 3. Other 3. If you want this skill, you're going to get these other 3. And so it's like, there's not a lot of like freedom in terms of how you build your character. You can choose, which tree to build on first, but generally you're just going to be unlocking the skills in a line. So what I wanted to do was basically make it so that there's a lot more customization and like ability to choose skills in your build. So for example, the flame class is basically concerning using fire. So all of these skills, these like 7 skills, are for the flame class. So how I use the flame class might be, and each, before I forget, each build, however you build your character, each build can only equip 4 skills max. So how I would equip this or build my flame, warrior or whatever, could be drastically different from how you would do it, because we can't use all the skills, and you can choose and level up any of these skills individually. So the idea is that basically this allows you to kind of like customize and mix and match to like, really build your character the way you want. So for example, and ideally, I have no idea how doable this would be, but ideally each class kind of has its own like gimmick or gimmicks that basically allows you to, if you focus harder into the class, do a lot more with it, or you can just kind of like mix and match to be more generalistic. Like for example, the Dragoon. So the Dragoon, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy, it's a character that basically has a jump command in like Final Fantasy 6, 5, probably in other games as well. I guess 3, wherever he initially 4 rather, wherever he initially appeared. But essentially, you press jump, he jumps, and then he comes back down after a few turns and does damage. So I was like, okay, well, this would be cool if you, in a context of a game, if you basically were like an aerial fighter, right? So this skill is a passive, and this would basically be like when you're in the air, your attack speed and power are boosted. Okay. Here's a skill that basically allows you to stomp down on enemies and like rebound to like jump off of them and do more damage. And let's say, any active skill takes energy of some description, SP, whatever. So there's a couple of like stomping skills. There's one that allows you to double jump. There's one that allows you to glide to another enemy. There's one that allows you to do an uppercut or flipping kick. So you have these skills that are all focused on aerial movement and aerial attack. So how I would play Dragoon might be to lean very heavily into it, whereas other people might be like, well, rather than that, I just want, let's say, double jump and stomp. So I can like jump around and land on enemies, but really I still want to be able to use other skills. So I like that idea. I like that basically you know, with this system that I'm planning using master plan and writing down and, you know, kind of positioning and things, I'm able to kind of like design how, you know, I'm able to design different classes, and you can mix and match them freely once you unlock the class and unlock the skills. So like this is a fishing line class where basically like you can hook enemies to build tension, and when the tension is max, you can like cash it in for max damage. If you hook an enemy, they can't move, more or less. So this is kind of like a crowd control versus one enemy kind of a class. And you can also grapple to objects using this class. So this gives you a little bit of mobility and the ability to kind of like control enemies and move them around. Excuse me. And not everyone is completely built out. This is just me typing and writing at like 2 a.m. yesterday. I was just like, but yeah, reaction class is like for defensive moves and things like that. So like you can cancel abilities, cancel skills with this skill. You can dodge using this skill. You can dash using this skill. So, you know, most people would probably like have at least 1 or 2 skills out of the reaction class, but you could have all of your skills from the reaction class, and you could be pure reaction, where you have like super armor, dashing, dodging, canceling, maybe parrying, you know, instead of one of those, all in one class. And this is you, like, you know. Or you could be like, oh, I just want to, you know, maybe be able to dash and like parry, and then you know, have other weapons or other skills. So I like this idea because it seems like the kind of system where it could mix very well, where, you know, your skills combine very easily, very, very completely, and it allows you to really customize your build and you know, have a playstyle that you really like. And all of these builds are interesting to me, you know, like as someone who, you know, I have my own builds in games or characters I like to play or whatever, or combat, you know, styles I like. And every single one of these is like, yo, that sounds cool. Yo, that's sick. So like, hopefully if everyone is like, oh man, this would be, if everyone is executed well, then people who play the game would be like, oh man, there's so many options and so many like really cool mechanics to explore and to try to build my own character with. So yeah, that's the idea. So I'm using master plan to plan this out, because it's such a conceptually wide game, and I'm not even sure how I would do some of these things. Like, you know, some of these mechanics are like, you know, when this happened, like the fishing one, where it's like you have a tension meter. It's like, you know, that's not that hard, but that would require me building that in specifically for this class of skill. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that kind of thing for every class. So it's good to type these kinds of things out so I can, like, you know, get to the nitty gritty of how something works, or what I, you know, what I'm planning out. So yeah, master plan, I do use it. Not so much on this game, this exploration game, but I do use it for games that require a lot of planning. It's still very useful. Okay, cool. That works. So we'll have to add, I guess, excuse me, we'll have to add some sort of like status thing, like maybe a message at the bottom left that says like you got an item or something. I mean, we don't have to, but it seems like that'd be cool to add some sort of status system, status message system. So we'll see if we can do that. Let me do a couple things here. There we go. Take that out. So we could probably just reuse the 9 patch message window that we have here and just put it on the bottom left corner and have it like appear, you know, maybe slide up, say the text, and then slide back down. We might be able to also make it a little bit more cool now that I think about it. We could like make it kind of like can we make it like I'm just doing this to be a little easy. We'll do it a little easy. That's pretty good. I think maybe we don't want to go that bright though. Maybe we want to do something like this. Oh yeah, I'll also Godot 4.0 finally released, which is really cool. Good job on the. What the heck? Oh, this entire time I didn't even notice. There we go. Yeah, but good job and congrats to the Godot team. Very nice that they finally released version 4.0 and people can get a taste of it. That's great. Really good. Double the dither there. Let's see how that looks. That's kind of cool. I feel like there's room for that kind of a thing. Let me see. I feel like it could be maybe 2 times as thick on the border. Yeah. Manual says, thank you for the overview. No problem. I went a little over, but yeah, I mean, like, in general, I do use master plan. It's one of those things where like I like go in and out of using it, where it's like sometimes I don't use it for, you know, weeks, and then sometimes I use it and it's like, man, I need to, you know, work on this immediately because, you know, now I'm using it. I'm like, oh, that would be a cool feature to add, or this needs to be improved, or something like that. So it's not like it's I guess we could probably make this gray actually. So it's not like it's hold on. Something like that, and then maybe like something like this. Try that. That's Reno says, are you ready to support volumetric cloud on Tetra3D? I don't think so. I don't think I'm ready for it. Yeah, that does not look good. It's because this boy is here. Maybe we should do something like this. I really just didn't even try on this. Oh, I see. No, why did I even do it like this? Yeah, something like that's a little better. Not sure. I mean, like we could do something like this to give ourselves a little bit more room to work with. So each piece is 32 by 32 instead of 16 by 16. We could do something like that. Oops. I mean, like that would look better. Let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. See how that looks. Size 32. Patch size start is 0 by 32. This is correct, right? Yeah. All right. That might be enough. That might be it. That looks really good, actually. Yeah, that looks really good. I was on one when I designed this message window because it actually looks really good. Like it doesn't usually. I'm not usually satisfied with my message windows, but this is actually kind of dope. Oh yeah, but Godo's sick. Godo's sick. Check it out. Not sure how I feel about that top line. I feel like that's too distracting. Let's go with that. Yeah, so we can probably... Oh, wait, can we do... Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we can do the... 9 patch for the little status menu, but draw 9 patch. Okay, so top, middle, bottom. Okay. Screen. Margin. I do use a margin. Okay. I guess we don't. Do we use the margin specifically? We do not. Okay. BG alpha times target alpha. And then we have the position. Okay. Oh, it was a vector. Okay. Let's see, and then target alpha. What is BG alpha about? Okay, so that should kind of get us there. Best Azarino says, I remember you were doing a 2D game or framework with SDL. No, I wasn't. I I don't remember. What about it? What about that? But with Tetra3D, did you make any tests or objects to support it? To support the 2D framework? I didn't make a 2D game framework. Yeah, that's unfamiliar to me, unless you mean Resolve, which is you did a Mario-esque. Mario. I made a Mario-like game? When? I didn't finish it, I can tell you that. Dude. When? Mario 2D SDL with Go, or do you mean Mario 2D Mario with SDL? Nah, I don't know. You might be getting me confused with someone else or something, dude. I don't know what you're referring to. The one you were able to climb ladders and such. Oh, that wasn't, well, I see. Okay. That wasn't really like Mario. Like Mario, that was a different game. Okay, you're talking about Door Jam. Oh, Carl Otto says hello. Hello, welcome. What about that, but with Tetra3D? Did you make any tests or objects to support it? To support... I didn't know the creator of Mario streams. Yo, it's a me. It's a me. Game Novice says, how do you compare SDL2 to Raylib? SDL2 is a lot more like low level. Raylib is just easier to use, but and Raylib does like 3D. It's more of a like game development framework. SDL2 is more like a low level like windowing rendering library. So like I would compare SDL2 to GLFW or Allegro maybe. Allegro might have a little bit more to it now, but that kind of a thing. Raylib is more like Monogame or like Love 2D or something like that. Although Love 2D, I'm not quite sure. Fast Pazarino says, I know we can feed the frame to create animated sprites. Question is if you did those kinds of things. Creating animated sprites in either Tetra3D, well, creating animated sprites is relatively easy in either Tetra or with SDL2 or whatever, with Go, because I made a Go A sprite to, well, I made a Go A sprite loader, so we can just feed an animated sprite to Go A sprite, and it will load the information, like load the animation data, and also like run an animation. So we don't have to really think about it. It'll just give us like the X and Y position, source position of the frame to draw the animation. So if we ever need an animated sprite, I'll show you. It's pretty simple. The width is the string size X, yes. Position. And then alpha is target alpha. Yeah. Okay, so that should do what we're trying to do, which is basically draw a 9 patch in a very portable way. It did not work. Let's see. String size dx, string size dy. Carl Otto says, "What's the license on that code? I would be tempted to steal it for my game. I'm using Asprite. It's on GitHub already. It's MIT license. Isn't it? Yeah. So it's just a loader, and it also like will update. It also handles updating the sprite animation. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not particularly complicated or difficult to use. It just works with the JSON exports. It doesn't work with the Asprite file itself. Because I'm just not that good. But yeah, overall it's pretty simple. You can see. I do have an example. Oh, it's this guy, this little dude. But yeah, you just basically you open a Sprite JSON file using a string or using the data bytes. You create a image from it as necessary, the path if you need it. You play an animation, you update the sprite player, and then you sub image the source image using the current frame coordinates of the sprite the sprite playback. And the upside of this is that you also get things like callbacks when a frame changes or when the animation loops or whatever, and also tags are supported. So for example, in Asprite you can create a new tag like this, and we can say like, oh, this is, super attack or something. And so we can see like when we're playing the animation back in Go, we can see like, oh, we played the animation and we hit the super attack tag. So maybe play a sound or something, or spawn a projectile. So very similar to how you can do the same thing in Blender with Tetra3D. It's the same basic concept. So this isn't working. Why isn't it working? Let's see. String size is 41. Should it not be larger, taller? Paz Pazarino says, to answer the question, you did something to support it, not actually inside Tetra, but still good. Yeah, I mean, like I made things to make it work, yeah. So like I make a whole bunch of stuff from time to time. If I can be oh wait, hold on. Okay, string size plus margin. I guess that's what I was missing. Yeah, I make a whole bunch of stuff. So like there you go. So yeah, like the things I make aren't just for Tetra3D, or aren't, unless it's in Tetra3D, it's not only for Tetra3D. This is pretty good. It looks pretty solid. So what we'll do, yeah, I don't think this will actually work. This 9 patch will work for like a one line thing, because it would have to basically like just draw like this. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but for now, this is fine. Okay. So the 9 patch is working. Just want to double check this one more time. Excuse me. Okay, that's working pretty well. Let's make it fade out a little bit more slowly. Fade in and out a little bit more slowly. Why does it die like that? It dies so fast. Is it because, yes, okay. Target alpha. Oh, I guess that's right. Can't do that there. So we want to draw the 9 patch. Like ideally we want it to fade out nice and smooth. Something like this might work. Maybe something like this. I think it's working. I think it's fading out. Let's try it a little bit more slowly. Carl Otto says, built a new PC today. Yo, congrats. Nah, it's not fading out. It's just dying immediately. It needs to be smaller. Built a new PC today. It builds insanely fast. Yeah, that's dope. Nothing better than... I swear this should be working. Yeah, it's nothing better than like nothing better than like trying to figure out like or trying to deal with, you know, a computer being slow and then you like build a new one and it's just like fundamentally ridiculously fast. It's just like, yo, let's go. What if we didn't do this at all? Carl says, I was rendering fractal animations on three old machines. Took 3 to 4 days. This thing murdered it in 8 hours. Wow. So it's just absurdly powerful. That's good. I mean, especially for, you know, if you're using it. Like it's one thing to just be like, man, I have a new powerful computer. That's dope. But like to actually be able to use the computer to make something or do something. Why does it fade out so aggressively? Why does it shut off so aggressively? Okay, let's... So is the target... Oh, yes. Why did I do like that? Why didn't I just do it like this? Am I a stupid man? I am a stupid man. Okay, I noticed that and I was like, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. Okay, so now we can just do this. And we're good. All right, cool. We just needed to fade a little bit more aggressively. Actually, it was probably fine the way it was. We just wanted it to fade out and in. Yeah, that's better. There you go. Cool. Let's go ahead and fix this. I didn't know if you do that. That's dope. Yeah. Like you can hold control and press page up and page down to cycle between file buffers. That's cool. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Very nice. All right, so what we want to do then is add some sort of message at the bottom left that says like, oh, you picked up an item. You used an item, something like that. That seems like a good idea. So we will do it thusly. Let me think. I can't imagine having needing more than one message on screen at any given time. So we'll do this using, well, I mean, really, do we actually use this anywhere? We do. Do about it like that. So that's... There we go. I'm wondering if, I mean, because really the only difference between this and our theoretical new message window is that it appears at the bottom left corner, more or less. So maybe we could just repurpose the GUI examine message background object and just basically sit it at the bottom left. Well, let's do it like this because I think I want it to be slightly different. I don't want it to be like the exact same. So we will start a new object specifically for this purpose. Specifically for this purpose. We're gonna do this a little differently. We're gonna use the queen here. Okay, and then do something like this. It begins at 0, goes to 1. Well, I guess actually this would be a sequence because we want it to like appear and disappear. So this will be a Glean sequence. Zero, one, one, use that in one. Fats Ballerino says, any good resources to learn skeletal animation? Currently relying on morph anims on my frame and not sure it will be bad on the long run. What are you working with? Are you working like with... Excuse me. Are you working with 2D? Are you working with 3D? Are you working with Unity? Are you working with Godot? Your own engine? SDL? What's your... What are you using? Because skeletal animation is the stuff of nightmares. Nah, skeletal animation is a little difficult. It's not super simple. It's not super easy, but it works. It's not like C++, OpenGL, and your own framework. What I would probably do is look at the GLTF. Well, I guess that's the question. How are you getting the skeletal animation information out of your either format or out of your modeler? Like if you're working with Blender and you're exporting through GLTF, then you basically need to just use a GLTF importer and it will give you animation data. That all you need to do is basically transform or use to transform your nodes that scan your vertices. The nodes in your framework would be the bones in Blender, for example. So it's not super complicated, but if you are like writing it from scratch, yeah, that's complicated. But if you're like, taking, animations with your models in, let's say, GLTF format, then a lot of the work has been done for you because it's already giving you, it's already giving you the data that you need, and it's already been transformed into like frames, and into like the necessary information. So all you got to do is just blend between frames and transform the nodes according to the blended positions of the transforms that have been blended. So you're gonna have to probably lerp between matrices using probably quaternions. So transform your matrix into quaternions, lerp between the start, the current frame and the end frame, or the start frame and the current frame, or whatever, depending on, it's probably gonna be your current frame and the next frame. You're gonna lerp between those, then transform it back to matrix 4, and that's gonna be your I guess I could show it actually. Bro, why would it open the file menu just to like close it in my face? Alright, so yeah, this is how the animation system works for Tetra3D. It's not perfect, but this is just how it works. So an animation is basically an object. It just has channels. A channel is a set of tracks for a node. So a channel can contain multiple tracks like position, scale, rotation. Those are different tracks. Yeah, it says right here, animation channel represents a set of tracks, one for position, scale, and rotation, for the various nodes contained within the animation. So you can look into the animation track, look into the animation track, and it basically is comprised of keyframes, and a keyframe is just data and a time. So for position and scale, it's a vector. For rotation, it would be a quaternion. And then when you want it to get the value, you basically lerp between these two. So linear interpolation for vectors, and should be slurping for quaternions, but I did not get a good result with a slurp, I believe. And I think I just opted to go for a lerp instead. Yeah, this is a slurp, I believe. And I was like, lerp is simpler, and it's fine. But yeah, overall, it's not too complicated. If you're doing it yourself, then it can be. But if your data is coming to you pre-made, then it's pretty simple in comparison. Okay, so this should be working. Let's see. Appearance reset, appearance update. All right, so. There we go. We'll go with that. Flow 32. Yeah. Okay. Professor Azarino says, yeah, I had this idea to implement it myself by getting the data from Blender, but the multiplication part on the CPU, GPU doesn't seem worth it. I mean, well, in comparison to just send the compressed vertex data to the GPU, vertex buffer data to the GPU. If you... Do you mean like just send the mesh that's been pre-transformed on whatever frame to the GPU to render? Like you are on frame 1, you send, by that I mean that the full animation vertex batch to the GPU per model. I mean, like if it's performant and it's not, you know, bad on your VRAM, then that's fine. If it works and you're not like, you know, eating up 100 megabytes of VRAM per model or something like that, yeah, that's fine. You know, even that is bad, but that's not that bad if you're like dealing with 3 models in a game. It's just not that big of a deal, but it seems okay for now, but not sure in the long term. Yeah, I would probably measure it. Like if you're on Linux, then you can use NVIDIA SMI to tell you like how much VRAM is being used by which processes. So you can see, for example, I'm using 1.6 gigabytes out of 6.1. So I think this is probably gigabytes of VRAM. So I think this is probably an 8 gigabyte GeForce. Doesn't say NVIDIA GeForce RTX like 2080 or something. I forget. It is a 2060. Yeah, 2060. So with NVIDIA SMI, you can tell basically like how much, how bad it is, how good or bad. So for example, we can check this out. So the game's running, and we're sitting at 70 megabytes of GPU memory, which is tiny, of course. You know, that's really, really small. If we check out System Monitor, we are sitting at 82 megabytes of RAM. So this is extremely light, which is good. I mean, that's, you know, really, you know, what it should be considering how absolutely primitive the game is. But I'm still pretty proud of, like, you know, taking like a pretty solid looking 3D game, taking like 70 megabytes of VRAM is like any GPU in terms of VRAM allocation and utilization. Any computer basically could run this, even if it doesn't have a GPU. It wouldn't be it wouldn't run well because you need the oomph of a GPU to actually render this, but in terms of VRAM usage, it's extremely light. So I would measure the VRAM, because if you're sitting at 700 megabytes of VRAM on a simple model, it's not feasible. Or if you're sitting at 7 kilobytes, then hey, if it works, it works. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. Oh, because I passed the... No, why did I pass the game? I passed the game. All right. I don't even use it. Why do I even... There we go. There we go. And then go to main. This should be fine for now. Okay. So, status message. For now, we will forgo the alpha because I want to just see how it will actually render. It is not rendering. Let's see if it's actually running or what. It is, okay. Might be that it's just in the top corner, so we'll move it down a little bit. Yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna say alpha. Block it, instead say, well, that's fine. I gotta see exactly how we want to do this. Smart. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this exactly. So I probably need some sort of like item definition system, so we can be like, oh, you picked up a key, you picked up, something, you interacted with the item, whatever. So let's do it. We'll do it like this. This is going to be a type. It's going to be an item. Name is going to be a string. Code is going to be a string. Description be a string. And we can expand this to maybe be a like cinematic. Maybe we can trigger a cinematic if the cinematic function or whatever exists. So we can expand this as necessary. So this will be items instead. We can just do it like this, right? There we go. Okay. So that's the general idea. So we will... Isn't there a means to like select to the end? Expand schedule. Okay, that selects everything. I just want to select like... Oh, I see. So it's... I see. So it like grabs the entire line. Well, ideally, I would want it to grab like to the end of the line. Is there something for that? I don't think so. Add cursors to line ends. Select end of line is... Oh, shift end? I don't have end on my computer. I don't have end on my computer. This keyboard does not have end. Maybe I could do like that. Let's see. Bruh. Where's the key? Oh wait, is it key? There we go. Select to end of end. Cursor in or cursor in select shift end. Okay, can we do like shift divide? Yo, Pog. Yeah, I'm pogging. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. So we can just go like boop, 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 boop. Bonk. Okay, yeah. There we go. That works fine. Oh, good. There we go. That's better. And then we can do it again. Right here and just say description. Cool. Okay, so now the key, lock key, we can say, boop, we're going to expand this out a little bit. Name, bronze. There we go. Very nice. I mean, I guess I could also make a function that just returns, like, just the text. So we could just be like, bunk, just text, or describe, returns an item. Returns item like this, and description, string, text. Because then we don't have to do this, we could just say describe. Like that. So that we don't have to have the description text. It's not really that much worse. Nah, I won't keep it like this. Okay. Alright, so that that works. So examine that's okay. Okay, so down got this. There we go. Cool. Now we go over here. Close. We go to the GUI, or rather the NPC. Plus sparkle dot node dot properties get NPC string. Okay, so NPC code is this. Let's see, defs NPC code dot name plus dot. There we go. All right, so that should kind of get us there, I think. Immediately crashed, which is classic. It's very, very familiar to me. I love to crash. Love it when when I'm working on something and it crashes. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Examine lot key. This should be NPC. Solar, I guess you crashed this party. Very funny. Very haha, very fun. Haha, very funny. That is pretty funny. Okay. NPC. There we go. So now we don't have examine. Should we leave it as examine? No, I think we should leave it as NPC. We should probably shoot, how do we want to do this? We probably should just leave it as NPC, and anything that can be examined should be NPC probably. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Well, because sparkles are specifically NPCs. Like, it's something that you can pick up, you can interact with. It's not just something to examine. Reveal. Let's see. Okay, touch something's revealable. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm not sure if it will. Okay, seems like it does so far. Okay, same, but at least it doesn't crash. PC. Yeah. Oh, I didn't export it. There we go. Yo, there it is. Picked up bronze key. And it fades in and out. Yo, let's go. I'm hyped. That's dope. Okay, that worked really well. So what we'll do, we'll just position it somewhere. I mean, really, where it isn't even that bad of a position. It's away from the yeah, I mean, like, that does work. I guess I'll leave it there. I mean, like, it could be worse, you know, positioned in a worse location, so that's fine. Okay, very cool. Let's this went surprisingly well. Torchlight, that was the game I was thinking of. I was trying to think of what's that dungeon crawler game that was really popular. Torchlight. I was like, Xanadu next, something like that, I guess. But yeah, Torchlight is more so what people are familiar with when they think of a dungeon crawler. I was like, or I guess Diablo is something that people play or have played. I've never played it though, but it's popular, and that's a dungeon crawling game, so that would be the kind of vibe, I think, but more action-y. Beat it in 10 hours, rushing main story, great game. Okay, I don't really know what to do now. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess we need to actually use the key in some way, so we'll make a door that doesn't open unless you use the key. Oops. Okay, so let me think. How am I gonna actually do this? How is this gonna work? I guess there's gonna be two doors that just open like this. Well, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, does it? Maybe it should be. No, that doesn't really make sense. Like, I envision them like opening automatically, but it doesn't make sense for you to need a key. I guess it could be a key card. Yeah, I guess it could be a key card. We'll do it like that. Because I like the idea of the doors opening horizontally, but I can't really envision why you would need a bronze, like a metal key to open automatic sliding doors. So a key card makes more sense. So let me think. What do we want to do here? How do we want to do this? Let me think. Okay, let's do it like this. We will make it solid. We will, I think we want to basically make it like play an animation, which means that well, I guess we could do this a couple of ways. Well, for one, we know we definitely want them to be like individual doors, so we can start off with that concept like this. Something else we know we want is for them to have some kind of a texture. So what textures do we got? That's like glass. We got a metal door, we got metal, we got... I don't think I have any glass. Nope. What about just doors? Other doors? Wooden door, double door. That's it, but that's not the kind that would actually open automatically. That's the kind that would need a key, ironically, but that's not an automatically opening door. Wooden door. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be. Yeah, okay. We could do it like that. It could be a double door. And it could be that it only opens once you interact on the interact once you examine the once you interact with the door and you have the key, that's when it opens. So I could play it like making an animation. Which means that each door should have its own like its own object. Okay, so something like this. Would it really open like that? This looks like the kind of place that would have that kind of these kinds of doors. So yeah, they would open like this. I guess it would be like that actually. So it could open on the hinge. Like that. There we go. Like that, yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. So now the doors, we can use this double door. And now this looks grimy enough. Yeah, let's do it. I like the way this feels. Ideally, we would like it to be flat. Can we do something about that? Or is this just gonna be the way it is? I'm feeling like this is gonna look a little wonky, but it might be fine at small scale. Yeah, might be fine. Let's crop it, and then let's see if we can. So I don't think we can like automatically fix the rotation, right? I don't think we can. I don't think it has that kind of power. What we do want to do though, we want to probably the glass is so dark. Oh, this is Super Nintendo. Shh. It's like, like, what have I done? What have I done? What did I do? Let's see. We'll kind of correct a little bit. Alright, and then we can scale it down to like 128 by 128, something like that. Maybe smaller? Maybe we could do handle 64? Nah, I think that's fine. Double doors. I actually kind of like how it's dark. We'll see how that actually shapes up, how it looks. Image. Okay, UV editing. They're a little like flat. I mean, fat. Well, I mean, like, you know, squashed. But this is like extremely a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. What we'll do, we'll grab both of these guys and parent them to a empty. Or I guess we could add a cube. That'd probably be better. Oh no, they need their own collision, don't they? No, I guess, yeah, I'm on the right track. You know, back here. So, yeah, it can be a bronze key. Before. That's fine. This could be a BB. A MPC. Okay, so now we grab both of these. Compare it to this guy. This dude is invisible. This could be wireframe. All right, there we go. So the idea here is that you go to interact and you say the doors are locked or whatever. Maybe there's a key. You get the key, you come back, you interact, then it's like that. So that's it. Double door left. Double. Save. All right, so now we're gonna animate him. Yeah, this is gonna be really simple. So we're just gonna say, oops, give me something on frame 1, and then like play it out for 90. All right, so 150. There we go. Exactly. Okay, so now what we want to do is let's take a look, see how it looks in game. Incredibly janky, as you might expect, for a couple of reasons. One, the major one, is that we need to turn on backface culling. The other is that we can really add a couple of edge loops here. There we go. Well, that looks pretty good. It's pretty janky. It looks pretty uninviting. Yeah, okay. The pure black window is kind of wonky. I like it. It's kind of wild. All right, what we want to do next is we want to make them solid. So we'll do that here. We will say they're AABB. Balance objects, there we go. Add to the unsettling factor, yeah. All right, very good, very good. We're just gonna copy this, actually, the door. Like this could have been done more effectively. Actually, maybe I will do this with bones instead, because that way I could kind of have a little bit more control. Like it's a little awkward for them to be individual objects now that I'm thinking about it. So let's join them. Origin, center, volume. Okay, and then this guy. Okay, so now I'm more wary about using an armature. I'm like, well, do I really need an armature for this? You know what, let's keep it the way it was. Let's at least give it a shot, see how it turns out. Because this works fine. That should be fine. Let's see if it works. Okay. Whoops, I forgot about the music. Okay, so let's just do true. Interact doesn't do anything. Judge marker. Okay. Alright, not worry about that right now. Actually, I probably should do this a different way now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, well, I can refactor later. Let's just get it working for now. Yeah, I think I might need to refactor, like, not immediately, but earlier rather than later. Because basically, the examine system and the NPC interaction system are two different systems, when really they should kind of be the same. At least that's the way it feels to me. Spam, etc. Okay. Spam and other things. All right, so what we want to do, let me see, how does the examine work? Let's examine. Yeah, this entire system is kind of like janky. Yeah, this is not good. I don't like this at all. So here's how it should work. Let's refactor. I'm not gonna do this on stream because this is gonna take a little bit too much time, I think. But let's refactor it to work the way we want. So I think ideally what we want is that an object can be in NPC, and that means that it can do different things. What that means is that we can examine it. Which can reveal hidden objects, and then we can pick it up or otherwise interact with it. So that means that we basically want something like this. We'll start with the car, I guess. So instead of examine, we want it to be a game object that's an NPC. And we want the NPC code, which would just be NPC, is to be a car, say. So now when the player is looking, examine, doesn't have to be real mode, and properties that has examine PC. But it doesn't need to necessarily have an NPC. Well, I guess it does. That's fine. Give it an NPC. Okay, cool. So others, all right, check. Revealable. Looking at. Anything that looks. Okay. All right. So this should kind of be what we're thinking about. So yeah, instead of it being like this, we want it to instead be examining.properties get npc.asString. So now instead of cdeps. There we go, that description. Okay, that should give us a little bit better of a result, and it should be more extendable kind of. NPC car, game object NPC. Now, really, the car doesn't need to even be a NPC game object. It doesn't need to do anything. It can just sit there. It could just sit there. Yeah, it could just be NPC get car. Event H says, "Hi SolarLune, I've been watching your content for a few years. Finally caught a stream, so I just want to say you're a big game dev and inspiration to me. Awesome stuff all around." Hey, thank you. Thank you very much for stopping in just to say that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to hop into my Discord server as well, there's a game dev channel that I just started like yesterday or 2 days ago, for people to share like their game development process or what they're working on or whatever, and talk about more like in-depth parts of their game development process. So please feel free to check it out too. Check that out. Please feel free to check that out. Let's see. Okay, so looking at, okay, so we gotta interact. Okay, so this should be fine. I think we'll, oh, but there's an interact function. No. No. Okay, what we're gonna do, yeah, but this thing, yeah, reveal. So what we're gonna do, let me think. I have to think about this some more after all, because I'm like, I want things to kind of be like contained, self-contained. Like revealing items is something that can happen to multiple objects theoretically. So it makes sense to put this in this item definition like this, revealable. Cool. And then we could just say the lock key revealable is true. And then that's kind of simple. And the other things, of course, aren't revealable. So it's like, I think I want this kind of like really simple definition system, because most objects don't need to animate or appear any differently than normal. So I feel like I need to like kind of revisit this concept and like start over, because the car doesn't need to do anything. It just can sit there and the player can both interact with it as well as look at it in scan mode, in reveal mode. So, but these are functions. These shouldn't be functions. Interactable should also not be a function. Hold up, let me see. I'm trying to focus. Let's see. If revealable, then I guess on reveal. I wonder if we could, I guess we could call a reveal function on the definition. No, because when we, let me see, where's the NPC? Because reveal, yeah, it does different things. We could define reveal here. Yeah, I have to think about this. I still got to think about this some more. I think it's one of those things where once it's designed well, it will really work well, but I got to think about it. And I think probably what I want to do is start off with this object, the key, the sparkle, because this is basically something that has all of the functionality that we'll probably be interacting with for our game objects, which is revealing objects, examining objects and them, you know, saying something, and then interacting with them to interact or pick them up or whatever. So I need to figure out, like, and it's also a specific object that's like, it does something unique. In this case, spawning particles and animating and things like that. So I got to figure out how I want to, like, how I want this to work. I'm not sure. That is a way to do it. That is a way to do it. Yeah, I gotta think about it. I think I have an idea. That is basically kind of what I started with, which is essentially, and we can, yeah. Like, basically you have a game object, and in this case it's Sparkle, that basically creates this object that handles like the particles and stuff like that. Like, this could basically be, an NPC could just be an object that has NPC functions, like a description function, a title function, a name function, I guess you could say. So there wouldn't be separate definitions. This would be its own thing. Because I already have to define, for example, door, the door behavior to, like, you know, open when you go to open it, etc. Yeah, that feels better. I feel like that's better. So that's what I'll do. That's refactoring for another time, though. It's been very real, chatting with everybody and doing some development on stream. But it's been also kind of tiring, so I'm gonna stop here rather than pushing through and being like having a bad mood or something for the rest of the night. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time. Maybe on Sunday I'll stream again, if not Monday. And if you want to support development, please check the links in the description to my Patreon, to my itch page for master plan, things like that. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time. See ya. Oh, and check out that Discord if you feel like it. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.